Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Cat Story YouTube channel with me, Dr. Luqman, bringing you another cat video. And in today's video, we'll be continuing our series on tips for how to care for your senior pet cat. Now, before we dive into this is your friendly reminder to please do hit that like button, please do subscribe to us, and of course, we always welcome your comments. Now, a big part of caring for a senior cat is actually paying very close attention to your cat. And this is what we're going to focus on today. Interestingly enough, cats are experts at hiding their illnesses or hiding their ailments. Now, this is actually an instinctive drive that cats have. They'll want to appear as, strong and fit as possible, so that they're not really challenged for their territory in the wild, or so that other animals view them as more threatening or more capable, like when it comes to mating. So cats naturally do have a tendency to try and hide their illnesses or ailments. And this actually persists in pet cats today as well. So many pet cats are actually very good at hiding their illnesses or ailments, or if something is like bothering them, they're very good at trying to hide it. And usually by the time it's really obvious that something is wrong with your pet cat is when it has progressed, far enough for it to be to a point where your pet cat cannot unfortunately hide it anymore. So it's actually good practice to keep a very close eye on your pet to look for subtle signs that they might be in pain. Pain is actually anything that causes discomfort for your pet, and it is actually very important for senior cats because many senior cats do develop conditions that are associated with pain. So it's very important to keep a very close eye on your pet cat. The first thing that would be a definite red flag is if your cat suddenly stops eating. Now, this is something we've discussed in the last week's video as well. Cats, refusing to eat is a very big red flag that something might be off. And yes, pain can also mean that your cat does not feel like eating anymore. Something else you should keep an eye on is the way your cat walks. Now, this is actually very interesting because older cats do have, a higher risk of developing osteoarthritis. So in the unfortunate event that your cat does have osteoarthritis, in the early stages of osteoarthritis, the signs will actually be very, very subtle. You might notice that your cat walks instead of running to their favorite place if they were, very frequently running before. You might notice that your cat is taking kind of weird steps as they walk. For context, cats actually only walk on one line, which is called, a cat. That's why it's called a catwalk. So all four of their paws actually always fall on the same two spots as they walk along. It's actually very interesting to see this. If you ever see a cat walking somewhere where they can leave footprints, it's actually very fascinating. So if you do notice that your cat is taking unusually small steps or unusually wide spaced steps, that could be a sign of pain. If you notice that your cat refuses to jump onto surfaces they were previously fond of jumping onto, that might also be associated with pain. In addition, if your cat tends to isolate themselves for no explainable reason, it might be because they're not feeling well. Similarly, if you see a drop in your cat's grooming habits, that could be because they're in pain from a lack of flexibility, so they actually cannot turn to groom as much as they'd like to. Pivot. Speaking of reluctant to groom seniors, lack of flexibility, whatever, last week, was it last week? Was it 2 weeks ago? I could not even, I went to my physiotherapist, who I need basically because my joints are it's a whole story. That's a different topic. But anyway, I could not even do this kind of weird yoga pose thingy. Whoo, whoo. Okay, I can do it now because he readjusted me. But previously I could not even do that. So yeah. Sometimes signs that your cat is, in pain are very, very subtle like that. So if you see a reduction in grooming, that can actually be a sign that your cat is in pain. Excessive meowing for no reason, not acting like themselves, being overly lethargic, being extremely warm or cold to the touch, and refusing to eat or drink, or changes in litter box habits are all additional signs that your cat might be in pain. And these signs are very important to look out for so that you can actually take proper care of your cat and bring them into your veterinarian for a closer examination. Moving on, the next thing you can do for a senior cat, which is actually quite beneficial, is to provide them more beds, comfortable beds in different places with lots of options to rest depending on their preference. I personally know some cats that are only fond of certain fabrics. So some cats don't like microfiber towels, but I know some cats that do like them. Some cats prefer duvets, but other cats I know prefer blankets. So I mean, it's really up to what your cat prefers. But if you know your cat has a fondness for a certain type of fabric on which they like to rest, it's a very good idea to invest in additional beds and comfortable resting spots for your senior pet. And it's important to remember that chances are the most comfortable resting spot is actually your lap. And just because your pet is a senior, you shouldn't slow down your rate of interaction with them. It is true that senior cats are, perhaps somewhat a bit slower, they may sleep a bit more, etc. But you should still make an active effort to interact with your cat. And trust me, most cats that are seniors love cuddling with you. This brings us to our next tip for senior cats is to groom them more often. As we mentioned, senior cats might have, reduced flexibility. They may even have issues with their oral cavity. So, gingivitis, stomatitis, etc. So if their, teeth, gums, tongue, etc. are all inflamed or in pain, or they're not feeling good, they will actually not really want to turn around and, groom themselves, lick themselves as well as they used to do. So another very good tip for senior cat owners is to actually groom your cat more frequently. And this can actually be a very good bonding opportunity with your pets as well, because you're obviously going to be spending more time with them. And it has the added benefit of letting you take a very close look at different parts of their body. And if you're grooming them and you notice something strange or something unusual on their body that wasn't there before, like a lump or a bump or a change in color, or if you're grooming them and you suddenly come across a reaction from your cat. So say, for example, you're grooming your cat along their upper back, and then you slowly move down towards their lower back, like towards their rump, and suddenly, out of nowhere, your cat, who was seemingly very nice and calm, turns around and like pins their ear back or tries to get away or meows or shows some signs of discomfort. It could actually be an indication that there's something there that's causing your cat pain. So, grooming is a very intimate, personal thing for cats. And when you groom your cat, you're being very intimate and personal with them. So when you are intimate and personal with your cat, you actually have better chances of spotting oddities or spotting things that are not supposed to be there, or spotting things that might be of concern, or spotting areas which, when touched, elicit pain from your cats. Now, it's very important to note that if you are grooming your cat and they do seem to be in pain or discomfort, is to not force them to stay there to continue grooming them, because that will inevitably backfire. So if your cat does show signs of discomfort while you are grooming them and they want to get away, you should stop grooming them. Like, don't force the grooming onto your cat, especially if it's, clearly very uncomfortable for them, very strange for them, very painful for them. That'll make things worse for your cat. The correct thing to do, if you notice your cat in pain while you groom them, or if you notice something odd on their bodies while you groom them, is to immediately schedule a consultation with your veterinarian and have that area or that weird thing you spotted or that weird color you saw, whatever it may be, have that looked at closer by your veterinarian. And that wraps up today's video on 3 more tips for senior cats. As we mentioned before, this is a series, so we'll be having additional videos coming for this series. So we'll have 2 more videos to wrap up this series on tips for your senior cat. So please do keep it here at Catster with me, Dr. Luqman, and of course, Isabel as well. For now, this is me signing off, wishing you all a very lovely week ahead, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye, guys. I hope my voice stays like this. But this is the kind of, a little off topic here. No, actually, okay, yeah, let's go off topic. This is the kind of voice I have when I know I'm about to lose my voice. So I'd rather record now than later because I'm not sure when it will come back. If that makes sense? Do you all get that feeling?